Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply again. What I'm going to do on the how-to channel today is we're going to do a remake of a track cleaning video. And actually I'm going to tell you how I clean locomotive wheels and my theory on car wheels and the products that I now use or I'm currently using to do track cleaning. It's changed somewhat from before the video that I made some time ago. So we're going to do a review and let's get to it. The first product I use is one of two products that I use for cleaning locomotive wheels, and it's the Cmx wheel cleaner. I prefer it. I've had guys say, "Oh, we don't like those because it's going to take the nickel plating off the wheels and all this." Well, I've been using one for about 15 years, and I don't have any locomotives out here that are missing any of the nickel plating off the wheels. Basically, it's a very simple operation. You lay this on the track. It's got two conductors on the bottom of it that touch the track, whether using DC or DCC. You turn the throttle up. Basically, I like to turn it up full throttle, and then you just set one set of wheels on here, one set of axles on here, and you allow it to run for a little while, and you will see the crud coming right off the wheels, and then turn the locomotive around and do the back end. This does not, it doesn't work real well with steam locomotives, I understand that, but let me show you the other product I use. I find this one works the best on all the diesels I have. We have one here and we have one out at the club, and I'm really happy with the way they work. The only thing I wish in N scale is that they connected together with a little clip on the side like the HO ones. You can put HO ones together to make whatever length you want. These you can't, so you have to do one end at a time. But this is what I prefer for locomotive wheels. Okay, and the second one that I use for locomotives would be the Woodland Cmx powered one. This is good for steam locomotives, and it is good for a light cleaning, I feel, on regular diesels. And what I choose to use instead of their cleaning fluid, I choose to put alcohol on here. Small amount of alcohol on each one of these pads. You connect these two leads to the track, and or you can actually set this one on the track as well, although it has some very small contacts here on the bottom. It's only got two little places here and two on the bottom, and you may get by with setting it on the track, but nevertheless you can either set it on the track or you can connect it. It works equally well either way, and then you just set the locomotive on here. There's a little metal strip on each side, on the inside, that contacts the inside of the flange, and you can just turn the throttle up and the locomotive will run up against the end here and just sit there and scrub on the alcohol. You can actually add alcohol to the pad while you're running it on the pad. Like I say, this would be my recommendation for steam. And it also works for diesel, although I don't think it does deep grime or deep crud on the wheels as well as the Cmx cleaner. But those are my two locomotive wheel cleaning choices right now. And now we'll get back into cleaning track. Okay, as far as track cleaning, if you're going to clean by hand, what I use is micro engineering, and we have them on our site, and there's many manufacturers, Walthers, Lifelike, any of them. We carry a lot of different scrubbing type, eraser type stuff, and some of them are fairly mild like the Lifelikes, and some of them are fairly aggressive like the micro engineering. This micro engineering comes in a long strip. I prefer to buy them like that and cut them down and make these track cleaners. As you can see, this is just a thick dowel, cut it about maybe a 20-degree angle, and just adhere a cut piece of that block to this. And I feel that this allows me to get in, and I think this works a little better than the Woodland Cmx. The one that Woodland Cmx makes is good for track where you don't have a lot of turnouts. Out at the club we use them because we have a lot of long straights, and they have a groove in them that allows you to stay on the track. But when you get to a turnout, that groove hinders you because you have to lift it up and kind of work over the turnout and then back down in. These are basically flat when you start. You can go along, you can see how well it cleans track. I have one on a thinner stick and a little bit narrower if I need to get in a tunnel or something. You can make them however large or however small you want to make them. What I can tell you about these is when you want to resurface these, just put them on about a, maybe a 60 grit piece of sandpaper or something, and just give them a scrubbing on there until all the black is gone and they're ready to use again. These are kind of what I prefer for hand cleaning. Now we'll get on to mechanical cleaning. Okay, when I say mechanical cleaning, what I'm talking about is a car, basically, that you can tow around. A lot of guys are looking for something that's easy to use, and towing a car around is an easy thing to do without having to go around and hand scrub all your track. My recommendation on hand scrubbing track is maybe once a year, at least in my environment here. Of course, all that is subjective based on the environment that your layout is in. If you're in a garage with nothing around it, or near a workshop or something, you're going to have a lot more stuff on your track to deal with than normally a closed room like this. Closed room is ideal, but if that's not what you have, then you can expect to have to clean your track and locomotives more often. This is the car that I now use almost exclusively here and at the club. It is a Cmx Cleaning Car. They are very expensive, ridiculously so, I believe, but the manufacturer seems to think that they're worth that money, and people buy them, and they buy them because they're a good car. So can you argue with it? I don't guess so. You only have to buy them once. That's a good thing. They use a little pad on the bottom, like a chenille type material. You could use almost any type of chenille or similar material that you have here. You could even put a sandpaper in there if you really had some crummy spots. I don't like going real wild with any kind of heavy grit sandpaper, but you certainly could put some smoother sandpaper in the bottom of this and run it around the track. I will give you some instructions for proper use on this thing. It takes I will also add that it takes at least one, maybe two good diesel locomotives to pull this. You're not going to pull this around the track with your average steam locomotive. This is going to take some diesels to pull around. It's extremely heavy. I don't know what the actual weight is, but as you can see, it's solid brass, so it's very heavy. Now, for operation of this tool, I'm going to try and hold this in somewhere where I can make this make sense. You unscrew, and it's in the instructions that come with the car, but you unscrew this cap. It comes with a filler. In fact, I think there's still alcohol in here. Actually, it looks like it's full. But I use regular 90% alcohol in here. You could use isopropyl. You could probably use just about anything in here you want. I prefer, and they want you to use, I believe, Goo Gone. But I don't recommend Goo Gone in here. I just don't think that Goo Gone is. I just don't like Goo Gone, but that's just me. Okay. I think it leaves a residue on the track, so I prefer alcohol. So anyway, and we do this at the club too. We have two of these at the club. There's a syringe that comes with this that allows you to put the fluid down into this hole with a syringe and push the syringe until the fluid comes out the vent hole, which I think you can see right there. Now, when you go to operate this car, what you want to do is put this cap back on, and a lot of guys might get the car and say, well, the car doesn't work. Well, the car works, but if you screw this all the way down tight, that O-ring seals that vent hole and seals the filler hole, which keeps the alcohol in there. This car's been sitting for about, I don't know, 3 months maybe, and the alcohol's still in it. So when you get ready to use it, you have to unscrew this cap until the vent hole is clear. And I don't know if we can see that on the camera or not, but it's above the surface right there, and that vent hole is now open. That allows you to take the needle and adjust. Let me try and get it where I can get. You adjust the needle open, and by the way, you also close this needle when you're storing. Now you can see the alcohol starting to drip. Now you see it's going to drip again. I like to adjust it just about like that, where you get a drip every second or two, or maybe a little slower than that, whatever you prefer. That's going down and wetting that pad. And now you place this on the track, you pull it around, and pulls up that kind of junk on there. Takes all the residue, dust, everything off the track. I'm going to close this back up so we don't leak all over the place here. But once you get done with the car, you close the needle valve and you close this O-ring, the filler valve, and no more alcohol is coming out of that car. You can see that it is now not dripping. I can turn the car upside down. There's nothing coming out of the vent hole. Okay, so that will keep the alcohol in the car. This car removes a lot of crud, a lot of dust, a lot of corrosion, and does not harm the top of the track. And we find that even on the 1,000 feet of Unitrack that we have out at the fairgrounds, we run one of these in each direction about 2 laps, and we're generally good to go. So my preference is that car. Okay, once I've done my hand cleaning and once I've done my cleaning car around on top of the track, what I prefer to do nowadays as well is I prefer to use, and I know all this is expensive proposition, but like I say, hopefully you only have to buy them once, is one of these guys. This one has been converted to DCC. If you buy one of these, they're DC. And you've got to convert it, you got to put a decoder in it, and if you choose, you could put microtrains couplers on it, like I've converted this one here, and I have a video on that already. But you could convert one of these cars. But anyway, this is my choice, and I had this in my other video, I believe. And what I like about this car is not so much that you can replace this disc down here with a sticky disc or a scrubbing disc. You can put any kind of disc. That comes with several. Now, I've never used it with any of those polishing discs or any of those sanding discs. I like the vacuum. I didn't think that it would vacuum up very much. I did it in the other video. But when you turn this vacuum on DCC, I leave this decoder at 3. I turn the throttle all the way up on 3. I pull this car around the track, and I don't care if you've run a regular vacuum cleaner on the track, this thing will pick up crud. And this little bin here there'll be a thimbleful of junk in it. So once I get done with all the manual cleaning, I like to run this guy around on vacuum and suck up all the stuff that's in between the rails, along the rails, and all of that. And that's the purpose of using this afterwards. And pretty much that's how I keep the track clean now. I have a lot of guys ask me too, how do I keep the rolling stock wheels clean? And we're going to get to that right now. Okay. On rolling stock, there's always the infamous metal wheel versus plastic wheel conundrum. I have some cars with metal wheels, and I have a lot of cars with plastic wheels. And what I'll tell you is, I only use metal wheels on cars where I feel like the car needs more weight on the low end of the car, or something like that, or if it happens to come with metal wheels, I'm okay with that. I'm not fanatical about it or anything. But I honestly, I personally have never seen an advantage to one over the other. You have guys that say, well, metal wheels stay cleaner, they keep the track cleaner, and that may be, I don't know. And there is a certain percentage of guys that say, well, you run the plastic wheels and more crud gathers up on the wheel. Well, I'd rather have it on the wheel of the car than on the track, so if that's the case, then I'll take the plastic wheel any day. Here's my feeling about metal wheels versus plastic, though. If I have hundreds of pieces of rolling stock, which I do, I don't want to spend all my time cleaning car wheels, okay? And if I have metal wheels and I've spent that kind of money on metal wheel sets, I have got to throw them into probably an ultrasonic cleaner or something of that nature to clean them, because I'm not going to sit there and physically clean them all. So probably an ultrasonic cleaner would do the trick. I don't know. Like I say, I don't do that much with metal wheels. But stop and think about the plastic wheels, especially on this microtrains car. I mean, this car's been run a lot of miles on here, and they're still glossy. And it's a relatively new car, but it's been running quite a bit. But my theory is, you spend a lot on metal wheel sets, you feel like you have to clean them because you've spent so much money on them, which is true. With the plastic wheels, what I would do on this car is I'd go out and buy a pack of 100 wheel sets for a few measly dollars, and I'd just start replacing wheel sets and throw the other ones in the trash. I wouldn't spend time cleaning them, especially when it's that cheap to replace it with the plastic wheels with plastic wheels. So that's my theory. Is I like plastic. I don't have an objection to metal, but I'm not fanatical about putting metal on everything. I personally don't see any difference between the cars that I have that have metal wheels versus the plastic wheels as far as the crud buildup on them, or whether the track stays cleaner or doesn't stay cleaner. I think it really all has to do with your environment. That's just me. Keep your environment as clean as you possibly can, and it will prevent a lot of what everybody sees here with locomotives and cars. So I guess that just about wraps up what I was going to say about all this stuff, and that these are the methods that I use for cleaning and taking care of my rolling stock. So that's probably good for today. Okay guys, and I know I've been mentioning here about the environment. A lot of you guys have watched a lot of my videos and everything, but the ideal situation is to try and create a good environment for your railroad to be in the first place, which is going to help keep it clean and going to keep you from being frustrated having to clean the track all the time. In this particular room here, I'm walled off from the this wall that you see behind me is along the edge of the garage, half of the garage, and the whole room is sealed off. I only have air conditioning from the house coming into the room, no return air going back. So anytime the air conditioner in the house comes on, it pressurizes this room and it pushes air out the bottom of the door down here. Any door leaks a little bit, so the air is pressurized in here and pushes any dirt and dust out when the air conditioner comes on. So I feel like that's a way for me to keep all the dirt and dust out of here. It's helped me keep all the dirt and dust out of here. But this would be an ideal situation, is to be either inside the house or inside something that's cordoned off in the garage, walled off, however the case is, and definitely a door on it that you have some seal around there, whether it be foam or whatever, just as though you were insulating your home. This is what you want to do to your train room so that you can keep the filtration of dust out as much as you possibly can. Okay guys, that's my story today on what I use currently to clean track and what I feel like works the best. And of course, you're welcome to try whatever you like, and I'm sure there's other methods out there. But I hope you found this useful, and as always guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you the next time.